Hello. Something strange. The Jesus guy. Yeah, I've been thinking about him a lot lately. I don't know why. I only saw one video of him. Well, his 1 hour video of him. It's like, it's funny because I see two kind of like yellow eyes behind him. I see two yellow eyes, you know, controlling his ass. It's like, because he kept on saying humans and why he hates humans so much and all that stuff. It's like, for me, it's kind of weird. It's like, I think about it. It's like, I didn't feel any positive or negative about him. I didn't feel anything. I see a reptilian behind this guy who believes he's the Jesus. This guy who believes he's Jesus. It's like he's using his body. Yeah, he's using his body for him, or either he is the reptilian himself. Because I see two yellow eyes inside him. You know. Yeah, it's funny how he is. He likes. You know, in this reality, he would destroy humanity. You know, if, you know, since he thinks he's Jesus, and I could. For me, it's kind of weird. It's like, humanity is a disgrace, to be honest. And in his point of view and my point of view are almost similar. But his is more violent and more. It's more about killing and all that stuff. I don't know, somehow, now I'm starting to see a tail. I'm seeing a tail on this guy, you know? Yeah, it's a reptilian. Anunnaki reptilian. Controlling him. It's just... I can imagine an Anunnaki looking at our world, looking how it sees our world. Because it says the way this world is, the way humans are used, we're a poor design to be a human. Jesus. I just call the guy Jesus because but he's not Jesus at all. But it's like, nah, he's not Jesus. Definitely not Jesus at all, because I didn't feel I felt a reptilian kind of reptilian essence in him, kind of like, it's like I see something red, like a crystal or something, red crystal, or I don't know, I see something strange that's within him. I see dark. There's a darkness inside him too. For me, it's kind of weird. It's like I can remember people's faces. If I really like somebody, I can remember that person's face. It's like you can't forget the guy the way he swerve his hair forward and say, "Oh yeah, I'm Jesus. Come on, look at me, I'm Jesus." He's a white Jesus. I always thought Jesus was never white. I always believed that Jesus was never white at all. Well, I think there's no Jesus as I mean, the name Jesus was, to me, I always believed it was always made up. It was never a real name, because because I look into it, it's like I found a Palladian view of what this Jesus, because the original name of this person was Emmanuel, you know, and there was a separate book that's created, a separate text. You know, they had printed out everything, and it showed whatever these Christians are doing. They're doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do, because you know, like in the original, I read some of the text in the book, and in there, Emmanuel went to you know, like you see these stores and everything, and he kicked, you know, he kicked down all the stores because he was kind of like, this is not supposed to happen that way, you know. You know, man should not be greedy, you know. But I had this thought where Emmanuel was, you know, Emmanuel was a hybrid alien, basically. That's what Emmanuel was. It was a hybrid alien, you know, which that's how I figured out during the 9 years that he was a hybrid, you know, an alien hybrid. It's like, that's why, you know, the power to, you know, it's like what aliens can do is what Emmanuel can do, just like the hybrid aliens, you know. When these religious freaks, you know, these religious people, when they see somebody with that kind of ability back then, he would be considered a god, you know. But now, you know, everyone can have the same abilities, but now you wouldn't, they don't, you know, people are more caught up, per se, you know what I say. It's like people are more caught up, and it's not like a, it's not, you wouldn't consider to be a god, you know. But if you go back then in that past, having abilities, you're considered a god. So, you know, religious people are fucking idiots, to be honest, because they still believe in the gods in the past, you know. And then and they call, you know, call these abilities a miracle, you know. They call these abilities a miracle. It's like, for me, it's like they heal. You know, when I can heal, doesn't matter where you're at or how far you're at. It's like I can. It doesn't matter, you know. But to a religious person, they think that's a miracle, you know. But it's like, and then you get the ability to be a telepath, you know, hear people's thoughts. And then if you think about it, you know, when somebody's praying and they start hearing thoughts from somewhere else, and then they say, "Oh, it's God talking to me," but it's actually somebody telepathing to the person, you know, and on make believe that there was a God talking in their head, but in reality, it's an alien from another planet talking in their head, and believing that's a God. That's God talking to them. You know. Yeah, it's funny how we humans are, and how we look at things, and based on the past. Because religious people, they love living in their past. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to move forward, per se. You know that moving forward is a brainwashed word, but it's like they don't want to. They don't want to look to the future. They don't want to evolve. You know, they want to stay in the past, and they don't want to. They don't want to. You know, become who they really are. So they submit themselves to this make believe man. You know, this psychopath. You know, this psychopathic god that really doesn't give a fuck about you. The old creation. You know. It's funny. It's like I always thought. You know, to me, I always believed Jesus or Emmanuel was a black person, you know. But now I see these giants, so that kind of like changes the story a little bit, because there was giants in the past, you know. It's like, how could you look at things? Because that makes me look at things totally different from this reality that we live in, you know. So it goes furthermore in the past. It doesn't go 3,000 years. It goes billions and trillions of years. And you wonder, you know, why you're only religious people. You got to be a fucking idiot to believe 3,000 years, you know. And this Earth, or this Gaia, has been here billions and trillions of years. I mean, it's been here trillions of years versus the 3,000 years, you know. And I always believed that there was the future in the past, you know. There's always been a future. There's been a future here many times, actually, way more advanced than this culture that we lived in our past, you know. And these fucking idiots think this is modern, but this is really not modern at all, because it's not environmentally friendly kind of modern, you know. It's more a destructive kind of modern, you know, that sucks. It lives off fear, you know. This is, to me, it's called modern fear, you know. This system that we live in, you know. In the past, I mean, I guess they had fear then, you know, but there are some cultures that coexist with nature itself, you know. Creating a modern society doesn't have to. You have to define what modern is. Modern is not fucking gas guzzlers and flying, everything that's related to gas and money, you know. Modern, that's not modern at all. Modern to me is coexisting with nature, you know, creating without using fuel, you know. You can always find energy is all over the place, you know. Energy, you can use the energy within around you, you know. But, you know, it's like certain rocks can light a starship, you know. But I always had this thought of, you know, this Jesus guy. I don't know why I think about this. He's just a primitive guy to me, but a reptilian. You know, I always see the reptilian within the guy, because the way reptilians are, they want to kill they don't like humans, you know. Not, I mean, there's some reptilians that don't like humans, but I don't know which one. You know, there's all different types of reptilians, you know. Some reptilians, I don't know, that they're coexisting with us, but there's some that really don't like us. So when I look at this Jesus guy, it's like he's more reptilian than he is anything else, you know. So it's like, yeah, he's like a reptilian. I think he's just a reptilian in a human body, you know. I'm the Jesus guy. Okay. Thank you.